When we look at animal relationships, it's tempting to see them through a human lens: loyalty, exclusivity, lifelong bonds. But in nature, relationships are shaped by survival, not romance. Many animals form social bonds, yet do not practice monogamy in their sexual relationships. Instead, their mating behavior follows strategies that reduce violence, improve genetics, and increase the chances of survival. Here are some animals that do not practice monogamy in their sexual relationships. Lions, mating as a life-saving strategy. Female lions don't mate with multiple males out of desire or impulsiveness. They do it because, in the world of lions, getting it wrong can mean losing your cubs. Life inside a lion pride is unstable. Male lions rarely stay in control for long. Coalitions of rival males constantly challenge dominant males, and when a takeover happens, it is swift and violent. The new males kill the existing cubs, a behavior known as infanticide. This isn't cruelty for cruelty's sake. By killing cubs that are not theirs, new males force the females back into heat, allowing them to pass on their own genes as quickly as possible. From an evolutionary perspective, it's efficient. From a mother's perspective, it's catastrophic. Lionesses, however, are not passive victims in this system. Over time, they have developed a counter-strategy. When new males enter a pride, females will often mate with multiple males, sometimes repeatedly, and sometimes within the same day. By doing this, they deliberately create paternity confusion. If a male cannot be certain which cubs are his, he becomes hesitant to kill them. A cub that might be yours is a cub you hesitate to destroy. This behavior dramatically increases the chances that at least some cubs will survive a takeover. It doesn't guarantee safety, but it shifts the odds. In the wild, that difference matters. What looks, from the outside, like promiscuity is actually risk management. Lionesses are navigating a violent social system where the wrong choice can erase an entire generation. Extra pair mating becomes a form of insurance, a biological shield against the most lethal threat their offspring face. In the lion world, loyalty is irrelevant. Survival is everything. Chimpanzees, mating to reduce violence. Chimpanzee societies are complex, competitive, and often tense. They are structured around dominance, alliances, and constant negotiation for power. Male chimpanzees, in particular, can be aggressive, not only toward rivals, but sometimes toward females as well. For female chimpanzees, reproduction is not just about finding a mate. It is about surviving within a volatile social system. Rather than forming exclusive pair bonds, female chimpanzees often mate with multiple males within the group. This behavior is not random, and it is not driven by pleasure alone. It serves a very specific purpose: reducing violence. In chimpanzee communities, males are more likely to protect offspring they believe could be their own. When a female mates with several males, she deliberately creates paternity uncertainty. No single male can be sure whether he is or is not the father of her future offspring. That uncertainty changes behavior. A male that might be the father is less likely to harass the female, less likely to attack her infant, and more likely to tolerate its presence. Even dominant males, known for aggression, become cautious when paternity is unclear. This strategy also reduces sexual coercion. By mating voluntarily with multiple males, females lower the incentive for forced mating attempts. In effect, mating becomes a social currency, exchanged for safety, tolerance, and reduced aggression. The result is a fragile but functional balance. In chimpanzee societies, mating is not just reproduction. It is diplomacy. It helps maintain peace in a group where physical strength and dominance could otherwise turn deadly. What may look like promiscuity from the outside is, in reality, a calculated survival strategy, one shaped by generations of natural selection in a world where violence, is always close at hand. For female chimpanzees, mating is not about loyalty or attachment. It is about managing power, protecting offspring, and staying alive. House sparrows, the sweet bird with a secret. House sparrows are among the most familiar birds on Earth. They live alongside humans, nesting in rooftops, hedges, and city corners. Small, social, and seemingly gentle, they are often seen as symbols of simplicity and domestic calm. But beneath this harmless appearance lies a far more complex story. For decades, scientists believed house sparrows were largely monogamous. Males and females form visible pair bonds, build nests together, and cooperate in raising chicks. From the outside, their lives look orderly and faithful. Then DNA testing changed everything. Genetic studies revealed that between 10 and 30% of house sparrow chicks are not fathered by the male helping to raise them. Instead, they are the result of extra-pair matings, brief, often secret encounters outside the social bond. This discovery forced researchers to rethink what monogamy really means in birds. Male sparrows invest heavily in guarding their mates. They closely follow females, chase away rivals, and defend nesting areas aggressively. From the male's perspective, certainty matters. Raising offspring that are not your own is a costly mistake. Females, however, face a different set of pressures. While a stable partner provides food, protection, and help with parenting, genetic quality determines how well chicks will survive. Occasionally, females leave the safety of the pair bond for a short encounter with a male that displays superior traits, stronger health, better plumage, or higher dominance. These encounters are fast, discreet, and often unnoticed. The result is a strategic split between social partnership and genetic investment. One male helps raise the chicks. Another may contribute the genes that give those chicks a better chance of survival. This behavior isn't reckless. It's selective. Studies show that chicks fathered by extra-pair males often have stronger immune systems and higher survival rates. In unpredictable environments, that genetic advantage can be critical. To human eyes, this might look like deception, but in the natural world, it's optimization. House sparrows aren't breaking bonds, they're balancing them. In sparrow society, loyalty and genetics serve different purposes, and survival depends on knowing when to prioritize each. Dolphins, alliances over attachment. Dolphins are among the most intelligent and socially complex animals in the ocean. Their societies are not built around simple family units or lifelong pairs, but around alliances, cooperation, and shifting relationships that can change over time. To understand dolphin behavior, it's important to abandon the idea of romantic attachment as a guiding principle. In dolphin societies, connection is strategic. Male dolphins often form long-term alliances with other males. These alliances can involve two individuals or entire groups working together for years. They cooperate to gain access to females, defend territory, and increase their overall status within the group. Loyalty, in this context, is directed toward allies, not exclusive partners. Mating reflects this structure. Dolphins do not form permanent pair bonds. Instead, mating occurs across partnerships and alliances, often involving multiple individuals over time. Females may mate with several males, and males may mate with multiple females, depending on social dynamics and opportunity. This behavior is not random. It is closely tied to dominance, cooperation, and social positioning. Sex in dolphin societies serves more than a reproductive purpose. It reinforces alliances, reduces tension, and strengthens bonds between individuals. In moments of conflict or uncertainty, sexual behavior can act as a stabilizing force, helping to maintain group cohesion. For dolphins, reproduction is woven into politics. A male that maintains strong alliances increases his chances of mating. A female that mates across alliances gains protection and reduces the risk of harassment or aggression. These interactions help balance power in a highly intelligent and competitive social environment. Romantic exclusivity, as humans understand it, would be a liability here. It would limit social flexibility and weaken alliances. Dolphins thrive because they adapt, not because they commit. In dolphin societies, connection is fluid, cooperation is essential, and survival depends on maintaining relationships that extend far beyond a single partner. Sex is not a promise. It is a tool, one that keeps the social system functioning. Insects such as dragonflies and beetles speed over sentiment. In the insect world, life moves fast, and so does reproduction. For many insects, especially dragonflies and beetles, mating is not about bonds, attachment, or long-term partnership. It is about efficiency. Lifespans are often measured in weeks or months, and the window to reproduce can be extremely short. In this environment, exclusivity offers no advantage. Female insects commonly mate multiple times, often with different males. This behavior increases the likelihood that their eggs will be successfully fertilized and, in many cases, improves the genetic diversity of their offspring. In unpredictable environments, diversity can be the difference between survival and extinction. Males, in turn, face intense competition. In dragonflies, mating often becomes a race. Males compete through speed, agility, and timing, attempting to intercept females midair or guard them briefly after mating to prevent rivals from succeeding. These encounters are fast, physical, and decisive. Beetles take competition in a different direction. Some male beetles evolve specialized physical structures, enlarged horns, clamps, or spines, designed to block or displace rival sperm. Others rely on sheer persistence, mating repeatedly to increase their odds. In certain species, mating itself becomes a battleground where biology, not strength alone, determines success. What's striking is how little sentiment plays a role. There are no pair bonds to maintain, no cooperation in raising young, and no long-term consequences for moving on quickly. Once mating is complete, many insects will never encounter each other again. In this world, loyalty would be a liability. Natural selection favors speed, opportunity, and adaptability. Reproductive success belongs to those who act quickly, exploit brief chances, and move on without hesitation. For insects, mating is not a relationship. It is a moment, and then it's over. Before we continue, consider subscribing to this channel for more videos on animal and plants in nature. Let's go on. Dogs. Instinct over commitment. Domestic dogs live closer to humans than almost any other animal, which often leads us to project human ideas of loyalty and commitment onto them. But beneath that familiarity lies a reproductive strategy shaped long before dogs ever shared our homes. Dogs do not form lifelong, exclusive pair bonds. In natural settings, particularly among free-ranging and village dog populations, mating is largely opportunistic. When a female enters heat, she may attract multiple males from the surrounding area. These males compete through persistence, timing, and proximity rather than long-term attachment. Females commonly mate with more than one male during a single reproductive cycle. This behavior increases the likelihood of successful fertilization and can improve genetic diversity within a litter. In fact, mixed paternity within the same litter is well documented in dogs. Males, meanwhile, are driven by mobility rather than partnership. They roam widely in search of receptive females, responding to scent cues that can travel long distances. Once mating occurs, there is no biological mechanism that encourages a male to remain or invest in offspring. This pattern reflects dogs' evolutionary history. Dogs descended from wolves, which forms strong social bonds within packs. But even wolves do not practice strict sexual monogamy. As dogs adapted to living alongside humans and in human-altered environments, their mating behavior became even more flexible. What humans often interpret as infidelity is simply instinct-driven reproduction. Dogs are not breaking bonds or betraying partners. They are responding to biological cues that prioritize successful reproduction over exclusivity. Social attachment in dogs, affection, loyalty, companionship, exists on a different level from sexual behavior. One does not govern the other. In dogs, as in many animals, bonding and mating follow separate rules. Commitment is social. Reproduction is instinctual. Bonobos, sex as social glue. Bonobos are one of our closest living primate relatives, sharing nearly 99% of their DNA with humans. But when it comes to social behavior, they have taken a very different evolutionary path, one that challenges many assumptions about power, conflict, and relationships in nature. In bonobo society, sex is not limited to reproduction. It is a tool for social cohesion. Bonobos use sexual behavior in a wide range of everyday interactions. It helps ease tension after disputes, strengthens bonds between individuals, reinforces social alliances, and even resolves conflicts before they turn violent. When stress rises within the group, intimacy often follows not as a private act, but as a public social mechanism. Monogamy, as a concept, simply does not exist here. Mating among bonobos is frequent, non-exclusive, and fluid. Individuals mate across genders, ages, and social ranks. These interactions are not driven by dominance or possession, but by connection and balance. Sexual behavior becomes a shared language, one that maintains harmony within the group. This approach has profound consequences. Unlike their close relatives, chimpanzees, bonobos exhibit significantly lower levels of aggression. Physical violence is rare. Power struggles are diffused quickly. Coalitions form through affiliation rather than intimidation. In bonobo groups, social stability is maintained not by force, but by mutual tolerance and cooperation. Females, in particular, play a central role. Through strong social bonds with one another, often reinforced through sexual interaction, female bonobos hold significant influence within the group. This collective strength limits male aggression and prevents the rigid dominance hierarchies seen in other primates. To human observers, this behavior can appear chaotic or even excessive, but from an evolutionary perspective, it is remarkably efficient. Bonobo society functions because exclusivity would undermine cooperation. Limiting sexual relationships would introduce competition, jealousy, and conflict, pressures that bonobos have largely eliminated through openness and flexibility. What emerges is a social system where intimacy replaces intimidation and cooperation replaces control. In the world of bonobos, sex is not about ownership or obligation. It is about connection, balance, and peace. And what may seem unconventional to us is, in fact, one of the most stable social systems found among primates. Penguins, devotion with conditions. Penguins are often celebrated as symbols of loyalty. Images of paired penguins huddling together in icy landscapes have become shorthand for lifelong devotion. And in many cases, penguins do form strong pair bonds, but those bonds exist within strict environmental limits. In the penguin world, loyalty is not unconditional. It is seasonal. Many penguin species form pair bonds only for the duration of a breeding season. These bonds are built around cooperation, incubating eggs, protecting chicks, and sharing the demanding work of parenting in some of the harshest environments on Earth. But once the season ends, the bond often dissolves. When the next breeding season arrives, penguins may reunite with a previous partner if timing, location, and conditions allow. If not, flexibility takes priority. In extreme environments, delays can be costly if a mate fails to return on time, arrives injured, or is lost at sea. Waiting can mean missing the narrow window required to breed successfully. In these cases, penguins may form new pairings or engage in extra pair mating to ensure reproduction still occurs. This behavior is not a rejection of bonding. It is a response to uncertainty. Antarctic conditions are unforgiving. Food availability, weather patterns, and migration timing all influence survival. In such environments, rigid loyalty can become a disadvantage. A missed opportunity may mean no offspring at all that year. For penguins, devotion exists, but it is balanced against reality. Their relationships are shaped not by promises, but by timing, endurance, and the demands of survival. Cooperation matters deeply, but flexibility matters more. In the penguin world, survival doesn't reward rigidity. It rewards adaptation. If there are other animals you know that don't follow monogamous patterns, feel free to add them in the comments. We explore animal behavior like this regularly. Subscribe and enable notifications to catch future videos.